The hell is that? Stopped. Everyone's going to have their own mental, emotional conditioning. Everyone's going to have their own beliefs. So when you get that many people into a room, so to speak, into a country, and now it's time to, all right, everyone, it's time to vote. Okay. And then, people are talking. Hey, I don't agree with that. No, you're wrong. What y'all expect? Everybody's so different. There's no way you can come to a consensus on everything. That said, in this country, people like to pick sides. It's kind of like a tribal mentality. And I don't know. For me, I have a hard time believing that a person truly aligns with everything down the list in one side or the other without just first being introduced to that party. It becomes no longer about the policy and what the individual thinks, but rather this kind of herd mentality. Why is it that it has to be all the way here or all the way here? Why can't we just act like adults and just somehow meet in the middle? Compromise, like we pick some things over here, or can you live with this and live with that? Can we be a little more tolerant of others' opinions? I don't know. Obviously, excuse me. I'll be told in the comments section, if anyone actually does watch this, that what I'm saying is wrong and it's a shallow, naive interpretation, and that's just not how the world works. I just noticed I'm wearing a red shirt and that has undertones of a party. Oh Lord, should have wore a white shirt. I almost did. There was one on the floor. I didn't pick it up. It was one shirt, okay? And so we oftentimes take our beliefs and opinions a little too seriously, and doing that strengthens this thing called an ego. And an ego is basically these thoughts and opinions when we are not aware of them. Say a political issue is the sky needs to be green, and I'm trying to tell people the sky needs to be green. That's what it needs to be. When I'm not aware of that and I cling to that belief as if it is the correct answer, that's my ego talking. Whew, great meditation. It's amazing how relaxing and clear meditation can make you, or at least me. My goodness, my hair's all over the place. One thing you got to remember is that with the ego, with understanding that your beliefs are going to be different and you want to be right and you want to make the other person wrong, what you're doing is defending that false sense of self. If you tie your beliefs and opinions in what you think to be true to yourself, if someone makes points against you, you feel like you have to defend it. I have to defend my points because your value on yourself, your ego, is tied to that. And so you want to be right and you want the other to be wrong. And in that way, you are superior and the other person is inferior based on thoughts and beliefs alone, which when you break it down that way, I hope you can see how superficial and almost silly that is. Because with different backgrounds and different experiences, we're all going to have different opinions. So being aware of this ego, being aware of our opinions, and making sure that if someone does say that, like, hey, you're wrong, and they're right, to take a moment, and when you feel that anger or maybe defensiveness build up and you gotta attack back, the reason we're doing that because of ego is because of this superficial sense of needing to defend a thought pattern in our minds based on our own unique experiences for a little while. All right, that was it. That was the one thing I gathered. I don't know if you can hear that bird or not. Now it's off to do some writing. All right, so I just wrote up a little ditty on what we've been talking about. So here we go. I'm going to look at the screen because I'm reading it because I just wrote it. So bear with me, but this is what I thought of. So I'm remembered of the reason why I do not often concern myself with politics. It's damaging to the psyche, and it takes you away from further personal growth, entrapping yourself into your own mind with those opinions and beliefs. These repetitive mind patterns that are like reruns of a show you've seen just too many times. And unfortunately, this is all too common. People don't realize that the more they think of their beliefs, the more deeply ingrained they become. Like if you were to walk on the same trail in a forest over and over. And when those people are met with opposition, when someone disagrees with them with these mental trails, they no longer see that other person as having their opinion and that they have theirs. All they see is that I'm right, they are wrong. And if that conviction or those beliefs are strong enough, a lot of times they'll do nothing short to make sure that their way is right and that their ego, their beliefs are protected. This is a dangerous mindset, and that's what leads to violence, wars, conflict, and ultimately the suffering of human beings. And it all started from a thought. Little electrical impulses firing in the brain, going unnoticed. This awareness of thoughts, awareness that people are going to think different than you. That's what we need, is that awareness. Because shit, guys, guess what? You may actually be right, and that other person may be dead wrong. But if you fight force with force, wanting the other to believe you and your opinion, you're fighting back. And you're only bringing out the defensive and attacking ego, not only in you, but you're doing the same for the other person. You're making them on the attack, and you're strengthening their ego because they feel like they have to defend it. So what do? Let them speak their piece, because you know that they may not understand or be aware that this ego or this opinion and beliefs are at play. This is one way we can apply Jesus' teaching of turn the other cheek. You don't have to necessarily be a Christian to see the value here. Let that person with the opposing viewpoints, let them lash out and do not meet it with opposition. Doing so only makes the person's ego grow stronger out of fear of survival and to be right. Meet their opinions instead with acceptance and understanding. And when you do that, you may give that person's ego a chance to relax, to put its guard down. And if that happens, and they don't perceive you as a threat to their ego, to their opinions, maybe, just maybe, you create a bit of space down from their defenses. And with that, awareness has the opportunity to arise. And that's all you can do. That's the end of it. That's all I wrote. I think that's something that's not talked about enough is you don't have to always meet other people's opinions with force. Because, I'm just talking about what I just wrote, but when you do, you're making the other person's opinion grow stronger because they are unaware and not knowing that they're defending themselves. Instead, if you just let it be, try to see where they're coming from, and even if you don't agree, that's okay. And this kind of peace and way of being understanding and accepting can maybe make them see a new way of interacting with others in the exchange of ideas. Of course, that is not guaranteed, and people with very strong beliefs is unlikely. But a person like that, you can't control anyone. We can only control ourselves, our own opinions, our own beliefs, but how we exchange and work with others can influence the actions of others, but how we interact with them, if that makes sense. All right. That's all I have to go over today. I have to get to work now. Thank you all for tuning in to today's daily practice, and I will see you all next time. Deuces.